How's it going, guys? Welcome back to the channel. And yes, today we are going to be finding out if McFarlane Toys can make us believe a toy can fly. And just on first impressions in the package, it's looking pretty likely that that's going to be the case. Now, we do have the standard edition Christopher Reeve Superman action figure from Superman 78, as well as the Platinum Evil Superman from Superman 3. And I can't tell you how excited I am to get these out of the package. Been looking forward to these for a while. So we won't waste any more time, but we will go ahead and take a quick look at the packaging for all of you inbox collectors. We'll do a quick 360. Pretty standard McFarlane Collector's Edition packaging. You can see on the side the number 25. This is the 25th Collector's Edition from McFarlane. Not a better character could they have chosen for the 25th than Christopher Reeve Superman. Love that. And just an iconic image of Christopher Reeve as Superman in front of that American flag on the back. Actually had a mouse pad that had this image on it. I love the picture, but I think about homework because that was my mouse pad all through college. So thankfully I don't have to do any homework with these action figures.
Oh, so it's, yeah, I'm surprised it doesn't scar you every time you see it now.
Just a little. But it's still just such a great picture of Christopher Reeve. And the UPC codes for anyone still on the hunt for these. And I will say, guys, these are in stores, kind of depending on location. People are still finding these pretty regularly at Walmart and GameStop especially. But enough about the packaging. Let's go ahead and get these guys open and take a look at them in the flesh. All right, and we've got our Supermen out of their Phantom Zone prison in the McFarlane packaging, and man, just right out, yeah, these are cool. These are really cool. All right, we'll go ahead and start with the standard version, of course, the more vibrant of the two, the classic Christopher Reeve Superman 78 action figure here. Actually, we'll go ahead and take a look at his accessories first so we can see what they come with. And guys, both of these guys, they come with the exact same accessories with one minor change that we'll get to when we get to the Platinum version. So we'll go ahead and start with the flight stand. They come with the standard McFarlane flight stand and base, and decent flight stands that these come with as I'm getting more and more of these DC Multiverse figures. They are a little bit wobbly, so I think they could use a little bit of an update, but other than that, solid flight stands and they hold the figures up just fine in my opinion. And as all McFarlane figures do, he comes with the collector's card that has the same image as the back of the packaging. So it is that iconic pose in front of the American flag, or a mouse pad if you were like me, and the data file on the back, which gives you a little bit of information about Christopher Reeve Superman. Actually, the way this data file is written, it's just general information about Superman. If you'd like to take a closer look at that, please pause the video at any point. And he comes with the second head sculpt here, which if you saw the second head sculpt in promotional materials, you pretty much knew what the Platinum version was going to be. This is the Platinum version's main head sculpt, and it is kind of that disheveled 5 o'clock shadow, angry drunk Superman look. So we kind of already knew what to expect with the Platinum if you had a discerning eye. And a handsy fella this Superman is. He comes with 10 total hands, so 5 pairs of hands, and he's got the fist that he comes with in the package, so you can do your flight poses or your fighting poses with those. He comes with a pair of kind of relaxed hands, almost looks like he might be holding something in those. A pair of flight hands, the stretched out flight hands. Another pair of relaxed hands, slightly different, kind of almost claw-like. I think you can kind of grab things with that one. Those are actually really good hands for the Platinum version. You can do some choking of Clark Kent with those. And he comes with the pointer finger, or as Chris likes to call it,
the booger picking finger.
The booger picking finger, yeah. There's actually a really cool image of Christopher Reeve pointing, which I think they actually used in the Supergirl movie. I think it was the poster with Christopher Reeve pointing up in the air. So definitely we'll be using that hand to recreate that shot. And my favorite hand that he comes with is the one holding the green crystal from the Fortress of Solitude. It's actually the crystal that really develops and grows the Fortress of Solitude, as well as brings his powers back in later movies. So excellent hand sculpts here. You get plenty of accessories, really decked out. It's a collector's edition, so that makes a lot of sense. And now let's take a closer look at the figure itself. And yeah, man, as we said, this is really, really good. It's almost kind of spot on. The colors, very vibrant, looks just like the Christopher Reeve costume. I even like how on the S shield, it's a little bit raised, so it gives it kind of that premium look.
Yeah, or in the movie it was flat, basically spot on. But so
Yeah.
that is a nice little change.
Little
from
touch.
it.
And you can kind of even see it's got a little bit of that sway at the top,
Yeah.
in the little, so like it'd be like spandex stretching out and
That's
everything
very
like that.
cool.
Looks-
Yeah, that's good detail.
Good detail there. The trunks look great, and I even like in the boots you get a little bit of wrinkling. You get some wrinkling that those
Oh
boots
yeah,
would
look
have had
at
on
that. I
screen.
didn't even notice that.
Yeah,
That's really cool.
Yeah, a lot of really good detail in this. I mean, $30 figure, man. Like this has got some great detail that a lot of past Christopher Reeve action figures at much higher price points didn't have. So yeah, that's looking really good. The face sculpt is great. That's a really good face sculpt. Is it perfect? No, it's not. It's not a perfect likeness for Christopher Reeve, but you know who you're looking at on this figure.
Yeah, 100%. You tell that's Christopher Reeve right away. Some of the additional details I like on this is that spit curl. It is that S, that iconic Superman S. Other times when they have the spit curl, it doesn't quite look like an S. This is very, very prominent looking.
Very
S.
prominent, yeah. It looks really good. And those striking blue eyes that Christopher Reeve was known for. I mean, we're kind of in a semi-dark room here, and we can still see those blue eyes sticking out really nicely. Now, I think, especially from the side profile, man, that side profile looks almost dead on to Christopher Reeve. So that definitely, like, depending on your angle that you're looking at this, that face sculpt can be almost 100% accurate. From the front, you can see that it's not like perfect, but yeah, that side profile is looking pretty close.
Yeah, it's great for, like you said, $30 action figure. Very, very good.
Very
It's
good.
not hot toy quality, obviously, but I mean, geez, you can't go wrong with this one.
And not many are hot toy quality. So this, in fact, we could. I've actually, he's standing here in the same pose that I have my Hot Toys. We'll go ahead and kind of look at those two together, just so you can kind of get an idea of how they compare. But I mean, Hot Toys is $500+ now. I think it was $250 when it first came out. I got very lucky with this one, but compare it to a $30 figure, and they look great. They look great together. This is a great figure. And what I really like about this figure as well is the length of the cape. If you look at the Hot Toys, had it dead on screen accurate. This one's really close as well.
Yeah, I think it's pretty screen accurate. I like the color of it. I like the yellow S on there. It looks just like the movie.
Really screen
and
accurate.
as you pointed out before, these wired capes, this is really cool.
It is
as
a
well.
wired cape, yes. It's got the wire. It looks like this one only has the wires coming down both sides, the two sides, so it doesn't have a wire kind of at the bottom, but you can still get it up into multiple different cool poses. You can have it blowing in the wind. That'd be great for some flying poses that you can put them in. Really dig the wired capes on a lot of these. And this material on the cape feels good. It feels high enough quality, especially again for a $30 figure. That is a fantastic quality material that they're using on these wired capes. And I can't stress enough how happy I am that this is a pretty much screen accurate length of that cape, because as we saw with the Batman, the Adam West Batman, that cape was just so long. I mean, actually, Adam West probably should have had a cape more similar to this length. So I'm glad that they got that right, got the length of the cape back to a more reasonable length. Now, don't get us wrong, we love that Adam West figure. In fact, looks great with this Christopher Reeve Superman. I'm actually really looking forward to getting the Michael Keaton Batman that McFarlane has released. It's kind of a re-release. I missed the first one. So this one I'm looking forward to getting as well. So you can get a couple of options there for which Batman goes with Christopher Reeve Superman. It's a hot debate. It's a hot debate. Is it Adam West or is it Michael Keaton? Which Batman goes better with Christopher Reeve?
Now, just from the story that I heard about Christopher Reeve wanting to have an appearance in the Michael Keaton Batman,
yeah,
I'm gonna have to go with the
That's
Michael
where I am
Keaton
too.
Batman.
I'm 100% in that camp too. Although you got to say again, he looks great with this Adam West Batman in figure form for sure. Just the right color combinations and everything like that. It looks real vibrant. Hopefully, we'll get a Linda Carter Wonder Woman
There you go.
to add to the collection at some point as well.
And then, in my opinion, then we got to get a George Reeve Superman, and then I think that one would go with.
That one definitely would go with the Adam West for sure. Yeah, I would love to see a George Reeve Superman at some point as well. But yeah, man, this just looks so very cool. I really like this a whole lot, and I have not had a Christopher Reeve action figure entice me to get it since the Hot Toys. this one and the Platinum as well. These, man, as soon as I saw the promotional images for them, I was all in. I was like, yeah, no, those are for sure buys.
Yeah, and I gotta say, when I first saw like the promotional pictures for these figures, first thing I noticed was kind of like the crop top.
Oh, sure.
And I was I wasn't impressed with that. I didn't think I was going to like the figure itself really because of that, just because that articulation piece, it looked like, more of a crop top. It didn't flow well as opposed to some of these other action figures. But seeing it here in hand, you don't notice it all too well.
You don't notice it as much.
And kind of like what we were talking about before, the way Superman the movie is, Christopher Reeve had more of a rib cage type of
He did.
effect.
He had a really prominent rib cage, which we can actually even see on the back of the package. It
Yeah, you
shows
can
that
see
really
this on
well.
the back of the package, and this actually looks a lot like that.
I kind of almost wonder if that's intentional, because the way they cut that is slightly different than they usually cut it. It's almost kind of jagged like a rib cage would be.
Yeah, so that's, and you don't notice it nearly as much as I did in all those pictures. So it worked out really well, and I like the way that it worked out that way.
Yeah, actually, that's a good segue into the articulation, because we can go ahead and take a look at it here on this Christopher Reeve. You mentioned the kind of midpoint articulation, so he's got that in the chest. He can go back pretty far and twist and turn. Now this one, brand new out of the package, a little bit stiff, but that will loosen up. And he's got the waist articulation as well. Moving back up to the head, we can turn it sideways, both ways, all the way around. If you want to go Exorcist style, he can look up, which is a pretty good upward position. Not the best, but not the worst. And when you combine it with that chest articulation there, you can get some really good flying poses out of that. Can look all the way down, so he's got really good downward articulation in the head there. Moving back to the arms, we've got the shoulder articulation, kind of those ball joints that are hidden in there. Twist and turn all the way around. Got the bicep swivel, the double jointed elbows all the way in. You got the Hulk Hogan pose.
Yes.
And then we have the wrist articulation, so you can spin the wrists all the way around. You've got the kind of up and down. Not a ton of movement there, but enough that you can get them into some other poses. And then moving down into the legs. Now those trunks do hinder some of the movement in the legs, but not terrible, not terrible. Mostly just kind of where that thigh articulates, the thigh twist there. But not bad at all. You can go full splits, full Van Damme. You got the double jointed knees, and very prominent knee joint there as well. You've got the ankle articulation, so pretty good movement there in the ankle. Twist, rock it, get it into pretty much any position you need to if you want to try to get some running poses and different flying poses, things like that. And then of course the toe articulation as well. So pretty much standard for McFarlane at this point, all of the articulation points. So if you have some more recent McFarlane DC Multiverse figures, same articulation in general as all of those as well. Now we're gonna save our rating until the end for both and just rank both figures at the same time. And guys, if you are new to the channel, the way we do our ratings is it's not like a 5-point or a 10-point scale or anything like that. We have a just BSing scale. And so that starts at the bottom at total BS, which is obviously the worst. Then you move up to BS, which is not quite as bad, still not great. Then you go into not BS, which is kind of in the middle. It's decent, it's not bad, it's not good. It's right there in the middle, it's decent. Move up to good, self-explanatory, it's good, and then so good, top of the heap, best of the best. So we will get to those rankings at the end and rank them both together. So with the articulation out of the way, we can go ahead and take a closer look at this Platinum Evil Superman version.
Yeah, and obviously it's gonna have the same points of articulation. Right. So we're not gonna go over anything with that, but you can see some of the differences right off the bat are, of course, the darker outfit.
Right.
You can see some of the dirt on it, which is
I love
very
that.
cool. That's
I love that. Yeah,
detail.
like in the elbows and the knees.
The knees, right there on the shins, even.
Yeah, even throughout the whole costume. Like, yeah, he just looks grimy. He looks dirty. He looks like he's flown through an oil tanker. It's very, very cool.
Yeah, and this is spot on for that Superman 3 version of Superman. That's why on the box, I wish they would have done a little bit something different on the back to show kind of Superman 3 understand why they didn't. But
right. Or, a different trading card or something like that, yeah.
So some of the other differences, obviously, is going to be on the face sculpt itself. He's got a slightly meaner looking face. The hairstyle a little bit
disheveled.
Disheveled, thank you. Couldn't think of the word for it.
Again, this is the alternate head from the standard version of Superman, so it was like painfully obvious which version of Superman would be the Platinum, but I still dig it. I also like that they did put a little bit of a 5 o'clock shadow in there, so he, looks like he's been out drinking Johnny Walker. And yeah, like you said, the disheveled hair, he's even got a little bit of the grays in the temples that he started getting as an evil Superman. Apparently that ages you.
Yeah.
I guess you're mad a lot.
Yeah, I'm mad all the time. That's
the time.
I'm always mad.
Always mad. Just drinking Johnny Walker all day, flicking peanuts at mirrors.
Flicking peanuts, yeah. So speaking of peanuts and mirrors, I think that would have been some awesome accessories that they could have. That would have been funny. So including the hands, he's just like the standard version, same type of hands, but having some peanuts in there, maybe the kryptonite or the fake kryptonite,
yeah,
would have been really cool.
Yeah, those would have been cool. It would have distinguished them a little bit more from each other, and I think that would have been really cool. Obviously, again, we understand cost-saving measure. They're going to have all the same stuff, but that would have been so cool. There's probably some customizers out there already working on those kinds of things.
But the biggest accessory difference is going to be the other head sculpt.
The other head sculpt, yeah, which is actually the same head sculpt as the general Superman head, but they did something a little bit different with it, which I think is very, very cool.
Yes, they gave him angry eyes.
Angry eyes. We got the angry, evil Superman eyes, melt a mirror right in front of you.
Yeah, one of the other really cool things on it is it's kind of a combination of the two head sculpts. It's got still the nice Superman hair, but he's got a little bit of the 5 o'clock shadow going on with it.
Yeah.
Angry eyes. So it's a great one to go on either one of the action figures.
But yeah, to go like this alternate head sculpt with the red eyes, I love that. Like you said, you can actually put it onto the standard Christopher Reeve Superman as well and have him ready to fight Zod if there's ever a Zod released or anything like that. Really cool addition there. You just have to put up with that little bit of 5 o'clock shadow, which probably doesn't really bother me all that much if I'm doing some like cool action figure posing or figure photography.
Yeah, it just shows that he's battle worn, fighting Darkseid or
Doomsday.
Yeah. Maybe he's just hanging out with Tyler a whole bunch.
Just hanging out with Tyler, yeah. Just not shaving. Just hanging out, not shaving. Yeah, no, I'm digging this platinum version almost as much as I'm digging the original. I just, I might be in the minority, but I really did actually like Superman 3. In fact, as a kid, because that was the first Superman I watched as a child. That was my favorite Superman movie up until I was probably about 12 years old, and I was like, oh yeah, no, that's not a great movie, but I still really ended up digging it. I still hold steady that junkyard fight between evil Superman and Clark, whether or not that was a metaphor for a fight in his head or if that was an actual, like, they split and they were fighting, that's a cool scene. That's a fun scene. So I am very happy to have this one in my collection.
Well, I was going to say, Superman 3 is also a movie that taught me how to do some coding.
Well, and inspired an entire movie in Office Space. So, true. so we might not have that fantastic movie if Superman 3 didn't exist.
Ooh, yeah. I'm going to have to go ahead and sort of disagree with you there.
There's positives and negatives to everything, right?
Yeah, 100%. These characters are just phenomenal for $30 a piece. And you can't go wrong with them. If you're a big fan of Superman and Christopher Reeve, I think these are kind of must-haves.
Oh, I agree. So I think we can go ahead and get into our rankings if it's not going to be painfully obvious what we're going to rank these anyway.
Any guesses? Any guesses?
Drop those guesses down in the comments. Yeah, no, I mean, for me, there are some minor nitpicks that I could point out. So you can kind of see here at the sleeve, that wrist peg here got painted the color of the costume rather than skin tone. And so it looks like there's 2 cuffs to the sleeve. It's a little annoying. It's slightly annoying, but it's not something that I'm going to ding it too heavily on. And like you were mentioning, that articulation point, but that's just a McFarlane staple. They're very obvious. It's like that, especially on these figures that don't have a ton of muscle on them.
Right.
Like the Adam West that we saw earlier, talked about earlier. Those are going to be a little bit more prominent, but again, you pointed out, it looks like his rib cage, so not going to ding it at all for that. Yeah, just if I'm being nitpicky, minor nitpicks that are not going to affect my rating at all. These are both getting so good.
Yeah, I can't agree with you any more than that. There's some very, very teeny tiny nitpicks, but nothing that's going to affect my rating as well, giving these guys a so good rating.
Yeah, and that might be some of our nostalgia talking too.
It could definitely will be.
I mean, there's still to us to this day no better Superman than Christopher Reeve, and this just may now be my favorite Superman from McFarlane Toys. Previously, my favorite Superman Superman, and this is actually a really good comparison because his color scheme is kind of in between both of these guys. But this is the Action Comics 1000 Superman, and this is actually the most recent updated version of it with the cloth cape, which I slightly prefer to the original. I do have both. Chris also has the original Action Comics 1000 that he just recently picked up, and we'll be talking about that more in a future video. But this was my favorite Superman from McFarlane Toys before these two, and these two easily surpass that one. So yeah, these are my favorite, both of them, actually, both of them, probably of equal favorite in the McFarlane toy line so far as Superman goes.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to doing kind of that comparison between the two Action Comics 1000 Superman. So I'm going to kind of hold off my judgment on which I'm going to like the best, but I'm leaning a little bit more towards Christopher Reeve as being my favorite as well. But I am looking forward to doing a good comparison between those Action Comics.
Yeah, well, and you just got the original. So again, we'll be talking about that more. Chris went to a very cool Retromania
event. Yeah, cool nostalgic toy.
Yeah.
So
we'll be kind of talking about that event in a future video. So keep an eye out for that one as well. But I know you don't want to make that decision right now. I'm making it. Definitely, these two are definitely my favorite. And guys, if you are still on the hunt for these and haven't been able to pick them up yet, or maybe pre-orders haven't shipped out for you guys yet, or you haven't been able to find it online to order, Walmarts and GameStops in certain parts of the country, it has got a ton of these. Other parts not so much. So you just kind of location dependent. You have to kind of keep your eyes out for them, but people are finding them. But there is not much left to say on these two figures. They are so good to both of us. They are fantastic. Highly recommend if you don't have these yet or are still looking for them, if you can find them. Pick them up, pick them both up, even if you don't like Superman 3. I think it's worth having it for that extra head sculpt with the laser eyes. I think it's also just a really fun conversation piece. And you can, pose them next to your bottle of Johnny Walker Red if you would like to do that as well. So drop your comments down below. Let us know what you think of the Christopher Reeve Superman action figures from McFarlane Toys. Are you in the same boat with us? You loving these guys? Or are they not hitting the mark for you and you like some of those other previous releases better? It's like I know a lot of people are still fans of that NECA action figure that came out a while back, and there's a Mezco out there with the soft goods, and again, Hot Toys. No, don't even compare them to Hot Toys. You can't beat that one, in my opinion. But let us know down in the comments below what you think about these guys while you're down there. If you'd go ahead and drop this video a like, we would certainly appreciate it. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please consider doing so. Make us feel good. Make you guys feel good. Actually, make you feel great. It's just a great feeling when you hit that subscribe button.
Make you feel so good, guys.
It make you feel so good. Make you feel so good. So hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and we will catch you guys in the next one.
Have a great one, guys.